Hello guys, welcome back to Mr. Cloudbook channel, and today we will learn about the GitHub. This is the advanced topic because we are going to create a GitHub account and we are going to see what is the use of the GitHub as well. And GitHub is a website, or you can say it as a cloud based service that helps developer to store or to manage their code on the GitHub itself. Okay, GitHub is a web based portal which you can access over your browser. So GitHub is a cloud-based service where the developer write their code and do the modifications in their code, and they have to store the code in the central repository where everyone can access. So the developer will store the code at the or manage the at the GitHub. The code upload and the download, I mean like the push and clone the code easily from the central repository, that is called or the remote repository GitHub, easily with the help of the GitHub toolkit also. So Git is a version control system which will manage the versions of your control, which will keep the track of the files, and which will be used to upload and download the code from the GitHub. Okay, so GitHub is a remote repository for your code base. So I am going to explain again. So GitHub is then a remote repository for your code base, and Git is a version control system. So ideally we can understand the GitHub with the help of this particular diagram. So this is the GitHub project. So multiple users works on their own local mission, right? See here, these are the developers, 6 developers we have. So they are working on their own laptop, and this is the GitHub. This is the repository in the browser, I mean like the remote repository. So the black lines or the black dots is like cloning the repository, or the green lines are which push the code to the remote repository. You can easily understand. So the purple lines, the code will be developed by the developer in the local remote repository, and they will push the code. This is the green line. So the pushing code to the GitHub repository, which is remote repository. So they push the code or download the code using the Git. Each developer works on their own feature. So the developer 1 works on the future 1, and the developer 2 works on the different feature. So every developer works on the different features, right? They need to commit the code in the Git which is present in their own local mission. So they have to push this code. So in this particular local mission, like the laptop, they had to push the code into the central repository. So other users, I mean other developers, can use their code. So in any case, if the system of this developer will crash, okay, so if the second developer laptop is crashed, and so the complete code will be lost, right? So if the code is crashed, I mean like if the laptop is crashed, the complete code will be crashed and everything will be lost. So now what is the solution? For the solution, from the first day of I am explaining, that is the Git is a distributed version control system for the Git classes, right? So what is making Git is a distributed version control system? So the answer for this question is the GitHub is making the Git as a distributed version control system, and we need to know how the GitHub making the Git is a distributed version control system. So all developers is developing their code in the local laptop, right? In the local mission, they are all committing the changes made to the code to Git which is present on their local mission. So they are adding here on their local mission, they are committing the messages in their own local mission. But it also helps to push the code to the GitHub, which is the remote repository. With the help of the Git only, we are pushing the code to the GitHub repository, which is project DevSecOps, right? So here we have the common repository called GitHub. Everyone who is working in their local mission or in their local laptop will be adding the files in their local and committing their code in the local Git box, and then they will push the code with the help of the Git commands like git push origin, creating the branches to the remote repository. We will talk about the branches in the future classes. At a particular moment of the time, this developer is basically developing the code. So every developer is developing the new kind of the features, and they develop the code in their own local mission, and they will push the code to the GitHub repo using the Git. And suppose the developer 2, he wants to refresh their local, so he made the some changes, and everyone did the some changes in their local repository, and they will push the code to the central remote repository. But the developer one wants to refresh his repository with the new code. So what he will do, he will do with the help of the git, he will just pull the code that everyone made the commit or everyone did the push. So what the developer one will do, so he will pull the code, and he can pull the code easily from the GitHub repository with the help of the git. So one is pulling the code, I mean like one person is pushing the new code to the GitHub repository or the remote repository, and basically other is pulling the code using the git pull command. Okay, any developer can pull the code from the GitHub. So why we need to pull the code? Because if the new, I mean like if different developers working on the different features within the same project, so he push the code, so it should be available in this code, otherwise it will give some kind of issues. That's why they will pull the code from the particular remote repository with the help of the git pull command. Okay, GitHub is a main repository, is the common repository for everyone. So we use the GitHub, and within the GitHub we will create some kind of repositories. So for each repository we will create a new repository. So we can push the code and pull the code. So this is called the distributed version control system, because if one person is lost the code, he can again easily download or clone the code from the central repository which is in the GitHub. Okay, because each developer has the same copy of the repo in their local machine, and they can push the code and they can pull the code. So everything is distributed on their each local machine. So also GitHub has the common repository where all the developers can push and pull the code. So this is the use of the Git and GitHub as the unit. So we need to learn how to use the Git and GitHub as a unit. We need to create a GitHub account. To create a GitHub account, open your browser, Chrome browser or anything, your favorite browser. So search for the github.com. So enter. This is my GitHub dashboard. So I have already account. Let me sign out from this one. So because we need to understand how to create the account also. Okay, let's sign out from all accounts. So I'm just sign out of everything from the all accounts, and this is the page when you open. If you don't have the account, please create an account for the future use. So for the future learning purpose, you need to create a GitHub account. Okay, so just need to click on sign up. So on the right side you have to click on sign up. So to create a GitHub account, it's saying welcome to GitHub, let's begin the adventure. You can give any kind of like the mail. Okay, here I'm just giving postbox.az, so +1. Oh sorry, because I have this GitHub account for this one. Okay, so click on continue. So you have to create a password for this one. So I am just giving the random password here. Okay, and just click on continue and enter the username. So you can give the username as the Mr. Cloudbook or anything you want. You can give that name and click on continue again. So receive, it's asking for the it's saying, so you can receive the occasional product updates and announcements in your mail. So if you click on this checkbox, you will receive the mails. If you don't, you didn't get any kind of updates to your mail. Okay, just click on continue. So verify your account. So you can see protecting your account. Please solve this puzzle so we can know you are the real person. So it's asking the you are a real person or the robot. I don't know why they are asking, because every robot doesn't use it, right? Anyhow, just click on verify. So it's asking to turn the car. So you have to give the same way position of the car within this hand sign. Okay. So you can click on submit. So that is done. So you have to give the same position. If they ask again, you need to give the same kind of answers. The GitHub will send a new code, launch code to your postbox.mail. So whatever mail you used, you will get one kind of code. You need to add here. Okay. So I am adding my code, and so it will automatically take this code. Okay. So see, that is done. Your account is created successfully. So what is the account name I'm using? Mr. Cloudbook is my username. Okay, password. So I am giving this one. I gave some password and click on sign on. See, I already created account here with the help of the mrcloudbook.com. So how many team members you all working on? So I am just giving just me for the learning purpose, and you can select any number here. So are you student or a teacher? So you can give any option here. I'm just selecting the student and click on continue. See, they are giving some kind of information. What specific features are you interested in use? So you can use this one, automation and CI/CD and security. So you can select anything here because this is checkbox. So we can select any option and click on continue. So we will get the two kind of versions, which is free version and other one is student benefit version, which is GitHub Pro. So free version is enough because we don't do 2000 of CI/CD implement minutes, and we can see drop pull request, and which is different. You can see this all. So if you apply for this one, you need to give the student ID and everything. I'm just continue with my free account. So continue for free. Okay. So this is my new account, GitHub account. So my GitHub account is created. So in the future, if you want to add your profile, you can click on the right side top here. So you can set status, your profile picture. You can easily add your profile and everything from here. Okay. So from now onwards, for the learning purpose, we will use this particular mrcloudbook.com user. Okay. I hope you understand what is the use of the GitHub with the help of the Git as a unit and how to create the GitHub account. Thanks for watching the video and keep on supporting to the Mr. Cloudbook channel.